Hey folks, thank you very much for tuning in. My name's YellowHat, and today I've got something a little bit different for y'all. We recently hit 2,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel, and before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much for all the support this past year. To be able to start from nothing and seeing all the support I've gotten over the past year has been nothing short of incredible. My original goal for the end of the year was 1,000 subscribers, and we've doubled that. I can't thank you all enough for all the support you've given this year, and I hope to be able to pay it back to you in some fashion. As one way of giving thanks, I promised that I'd do an Ask Me Anything. Hopefully this gives you the opportunity to learn a little bit more about who I am and what I do. I'll be sure to put in timestamps for each question, so if you want to know anything specific, or if you're watching many years into the future, you can follow along easier. Anyways, let's get started, shall we? Why haven't you uploaded in forever? To be honest, this has been part laziness and part I've been kind of burned out between Pavlov and making videos. But that feeling of burnout is slowly going away, which is good. My biggest goal for next year is to get on some sort of a schedule for uploads and other content. When did you start playing Pavlov? How long have you been playing, and what's your most played VR game? I started playing Pavlov right when I got my VR headset, which was August of 2020, after waiting 11 weeks for it. To add on to this, I started playing Pavlov League in early January 2021, after trying out earlier that month and in the end of December 2020. I do own many VR titles, but unironically, Pavlov is my most played VR game, and as of this video, I'm at 1,500 hours played. How did you get into Pavlov/VR/VR shooters? My first taste of VR was over at a friend's house in 2018. They had an HTC Vive and got me immediately hooked onto it just from showing me Job Simulator and Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades, or H3VR. I had known about Pavlov previously from videos, but didn't even have my own PC at that point. Just the feeling of playing VR and being more immersed in the game was something that was truly amazing to me. I got into VR shooters as FPS games were my main background, and I felt like most of my skills would transfer over in some way. I stuck with Pavlov as I do sincerely feel that even today, it's still my favorite VR shooter on the market, and you get the most bang for your buck in my opinion. Pavlov has always been called the CSGO of VR, but I don't think that does it justice. Pavlov at this point is a sandbox game with all the custom content it has, and in that regard, it's continuing to grow. That, and it fundamentally has the best mechanics when compared to the other VR shooters, but that's for an entirely different video. What was your best moment from Pavlov? Luckily, I actually have a clip of this one. I'll set the scene. So, in a league game against my waifu list, the score is 8-9 on the first map. They're on the map point and about to win, and our team's eco is not really that great. I'm in fact forced onto a Desert Eagle and no armor. With what little I had, something close to a miracle happened. I'll let the clip kind of explain the rest.
Kiwi setting up long. Vista on site. YellowHat's behind him, though. YellowHat's going to go for the long flank. Very interesting. It kind of does. I guess I'm going to use push-to-talk. I just use, like, the radio thing. Is that what you're talking about, or are you talking about specifically push-to-talk? Okay, takes out one. Takes out the other on long. Looks like he also got bomb and a rifle. No, nice double kill by Vista. Looks like... Comes in, takes out Vista. Looks like, Short Pit had already gotten killed there. Just X on B now.
After that happened, we went on to actually win the match 10-9 and win the other two maps as well. It was the play that arguably saved the game. Never doubt the power of the Desert Eagle, or the revolver for that matter. Will you ever play Onward or other VR shooters? Absolutely. While I might not have the time to sink in as many hours as I do with Pavlov, I enjoy playing other VR shooters like Onward, Pop 1, Veil, and Contractors. I would like to learn them each at a decent level so that I can make my own solid opinion of them. And I personally don't like making harsh opinions of games that I haven't sunk a lot of hours into, as first impressions can often be biased or misleading. Will you branch out to other VR games in general? Again, 100%. While my main focus will be Pavlov for a while, I would like to see what else is going on in the VR world. One example of a game I'm really interested in is Zenith, which is an open world MMO that's totally in VR. I've been following the project for months, and it's something that looks really interesting to me. Hopefully I'll get beta access, we'll see. What is your opinion on social VR and VR as a medium for interaction with others? I think while it can't totally replace real human interaction, it can be the next best thing when it comes to it, especially with things like haptic suits and full body trackers becoming more prevalent. I also do think that it's great for people that might have social anxiety, etc., to be able to communicate easier in social situations that are arguably less stressful from a social standpoint. What do you think about social VR as a medium for content creation? An example being companies using VR to visualize the design of products, say the automotive industry. This is also something that will definitely help make VR a bit more mainstream. Just being able to embrace the technology we have is great, but also things like this will allow for the technology to grow and improve. So I'm all for it, really. How long do you think it will take VR to be respectably common like PCs are? Do you think more companies will try to make AAA titles like Half-Life Alyx? It'll honestly be a few more years, I think. The focus of the VR industry seems to be mobile VR, like the Quest 2. This is understandable as it'll get the most people into VR for the lowest cost, but for VR to become mainstream, the quality has to be high, the price has to be low, and the content needs to be already well established. That's both on the game side and the videos and the streams and all that. I think once companies realize the potential of VR and see that more than just 1% of players on Steam, for example, are playing VR, then they'll be more likely to invest and make AAA titles. Some companies, like Respawn for example, might be scared away for now due to how their Medal of Honor VR game initially flopped, but if the money's there and the companies want to invest in the future, they'll make the VR games. It'll happen, but it's just going to take time like everything. What were your favorite video games as a kid and how old are you? The first question is going to answer the second question by proxy. I grew up in the late 90s and early 2000s, and so my consoles at the time, yes, I was a console gamer for the longest time, were the NES, PlayStation, and PlayStation 2. When you look at the sheer amount of games made for those consoles, it's kind of hard to choose, but one childhood game, or franchise rather, that sticks out to me were the Crash Bandicoot games. They came out the same year I was born, which was 1996, and for single-player platformer games at the time, they were absolutely fantastic. In addition to those games, you had Crash Team Racing, which I felt was a very worthy rival to Mario Kart 64. I'll always cherish the memories I had playing those games. What do you do outside of Pavlov? Outside of playing Pavlov and making content for it, I teach music lessons and I'm working to try and become either a full-time performer or music teacher, or both. In terms of school, I hold a bachelor's in music education and a master's in trombone performance. I'm hoping to maybe go for my doctorate and teach at the university level, but for now, I think that can wait a few years, especially with everything that's going on in real life. How long have you been playing trombone and what's your favorite type of music to play? I've been playing trombone since I was about 9 years old, and since then I've picked up many other instruments as well. I basically play all the brass family of instruments, bass guitar, and piano. I can play most instruments as I had to learn them for my music ed degree, but all the woodwinds, for example, I'd be pretty rusty at, to be honest. In terms of my favorite music to play, I enjoy anything that's jazz, funk, disco, pop, etc. Some of my fondest memories in college were being able to play with one of my friends' funk bands at a few different bars. Just the atmosphere and the good-ass music was enough to solidify that I wanted to play music for the rest of my life. But why would you get a degree in music? Isn't that like a giant waste of money? You know, that is a good question. It's one that I'm always going to ask myself for the rest of my life, just to make sure that it's the right thing. If I'm to be honest, sometimes I don't know why, and sometimes I do. When I graduated with my master's, COVID had just hit, and basically everything at that point was canceled. Never did I think that getting started would be the hardest part of my career, and who knows? Maybe I'll look back in like 5-10 years and will have gone through things even more challenging. But as it stands, trying to start has given me kind of an early life crisis, if you will. I'm not 100% sure why I wanted to do music for a living. I can say though that whenever I do get the opportunity to play, it's always fun and it's always reassuring. The saying goes, if you do something you truly enjoy, then you'll never work a day in your life. What type of music do you listen to and what's your favorite song? For a person who's trying to do music for a living, I'm literally one of the worst people to ask this question as I can't give a straight answer. I appreciate all types of music and am willing to basically give anything a chance. As I mentioned earlier, I do really enjoy jazz, funk, and disco, but I also enjoy some pop stuff as well as music from the 60s to the 90s. It's really hard to pick a favorite song because there's so many different songs that resonate me for all different reasons. So, I'm sorry for not being able to give a straight answer as to what my favorite song is, but if I were to really think about this question, this video would actually never get released. Why is your name YellowHat? Why YellowHat and not Hat Yellow? The short answer is that YellowHat was my original Xbox gamer tag way back in the day. The long answer is more of an emotional roller coaster, so if you can't handle sad stories, I would skip ahead just as a fair warning. It all starts back with when I was a kid. The hat pictured here, as well as another one exactly like this one, were given to me by my grandpa. I personally never was a hat person, so I gave them to my oldest brother at the time, who in fact was a hat person. That hat kind of became a staple of his attire, and you could see him wherever you went. My oldest brother was the person to be leading chants at school sports games, the one to be helping out others who needed it, and the one to be a role model for so many, including myself. If there was one person I had to say was my role model in life, it's my oldest brother. Sadly though, when I was 10 years old and he was only 17, him and 2 of his friends passed away in an unfortunate car crash. Even 15 years later almost, this is kind of a thing that just will haunt me for the rest of my life. It was a slap in the face of reality, and my life would undoubtedly be changed forever. Fast forward a few months to when my older brother, my other older brother that is, and I were making an Xbox Live account. We were struggling to come up with names until we came up with the name YellowHat07. The 2 of us thought of it as a perfect way to honor our oldest brother and remember him for, well, eternity. The 07 comes from the year the account was made and also the year he passed away. Ever since then, I've never changed my name, and I don't ever plan on doing so, even if I get a bunch of people asking me what the color of my hat is, or if I like Curious George, which I've heard that one a million times. I'm hoping that both myself and this channel can do some of the same things that my brother could. Being able to help people out and give back is one of my main missions in life, and I aspire to be a positive force in the world, just like my oldest brother was. So that's pretty much where the name comes from, and you can bet it's going to stick for a long time. So now that we're here and you've either listened to my sad story or you've skipped ahead, I've obviously got a bunch of questions ranging in varying levels of seriousness, so we're going to go ahead and blow through those. But even then, there's some interesting things that will get addressed. So let's get to it and let's lighten up the mood a little bit, especially for all you that just actually listened to my sad story. Are you pro Pavlov Real? I'm okay at best. Give the scene a few more years and then we'll talk about being pro Pavlov. What is your home address? My home address actually is... Are you a slag gone wild? You'll just have to come over and find that one out for yourself. When are you making a mini AK tutorial? Soon, trademark. For real, I do want to get back to my gun guides. It's been way too long since I've made one. And I feel like people know me for making gun guides and doing all the stats. And I haven't done a video like that in forever, so hopefully soon. In response to what do you do outside of Pav, someone asked me, what do you do inside of Pavlov? Inside of Pavlov, I am the team captain of Vortex VR's Pavlov team, which currently competes in Pavlov VR ML, which you should totally check out. In addition, Vortex competes in Population 1, H3 VR speedruns, and we most recently just won the IVRL Veil VR Invitational. You can check out Vortex on Twitter, and all those links will be in the description. Thoughts on dual wielding? You're Chad if you do so. Bonus points if it's with dual revolvers or AK-47s. What headset do you use? I play on a Valve Index with dual index controllers. Some people like mix and matching, but I keep it pretty vanilla. What non-VR games do you enjoy? I grew up with a PS2 and then eventually an Xbox 360, so I mainly played Halo, Call of Duty, Battlefield, GTA, Saints Row, the list goes on. I did enjoy other types of games like the Gran Turismo series, or as I talked about earlier, the Crash Bandicoot series, and I'm also an avid fan of the Pokemon franchise. Remember how I said we'd talk about some important stuff? Well, this was a question that I got that I also like to answer, so here you go.
Why are you gay?
Reason number 1 is because, well, men are hot, first of all, and number 2, on a more serious note, if the subtle hints from my Twitter name or my Discord bio didn't give it away, I am openly gay and I'm proud of it. While it isn't my only defining feature, it's one that I'm proud to accept, and I'm also happy with the fact that, at least in the Pavlov community, I've been accepted with this as well. To be honest, this was something that I was worried about opening up about over the internet, and while I realize not everybody's going to be accepting of it, it's something I'm still proud of regardless. To close this thought off, I think the best thing we can do for each other is to look more at the similarities we all have instead of ragging on each other for each other's differences. Who knows what could happen if we all looked at what was the same instead of what was different. With me just yeeting myself out of the closet on my YouTube channel, I'm going to answer the question that literally every gay man gets. Are you a top or are you a bottom? If you want me to actually answer this question, take me out to dinner first. Then we'll go from there. Anyways, here's a few more rapid fire questions before we close off. What map or weapon would you like to see in Pavlov? I'd love to see some sort of a stealth campaign mission mode, something similar to a mission from like the Hitman series, and I think that could happen if the bot AI was improved. Something to kick back on or to make some sort of content on, for reals. In terms of weapons, while I wouldn't know its actual practicality, a Winchester 1887 or a lever action weapon would be a bunch of fun to play with. Bonus points if you can flip cock it like the Terminator. Do you plan on getting a Quest 2? I would like to get one to be able to make Pavlov Shack content in addition to the PC VR stuff I already do. And plus, there are some great exclusives for the headset. You make a lot of tutorials. Would you consider doing some funny moments videos? Absolutely. I've done so already a bit with the hidden mode and prop hunt in Pavlov, and I'm hoping to make more videos that are just me playing with friends and having a good time. Would you ever do a collab with a bigger VR YouTuber like Lonely Viper, for example? I'd be down to collaborate with whoever. I always enjoy meeting different people in the VR community. Specifically with Viper, I would be down. We've tried to organize stuff before, but our schedules really haven't lined up. So Viper, if you're watching this video, let's play some games sometime. Is salt just angry sugar? Yes. YellowHat montage when? If I gather the clips and work on my editing skills, I'd be happy to making one for, say, the end of the competitive season. I'd also be down to make some casting highlights as well. You can check out my cast, by the way, over on my Twitch. The link's in that description. You should totally go check that out when I randomly cast matches. They're fun. What's the plan for 2022? To end the video, let's talk about my plans for 2022. I'd like to start streaming to Twitch more, and over the holidays I plan on working on some assets and making everything look a little bit more professional. Something I really care about is the production quality of all my videos, what my channel looks like, etc, etc, and I hope to keep improving on that. I'd like to actually make sure that I upload once or twice a week, depending on schedules and, well, what's going on in life. In addition to YouTube and Twitch, I plan on doing more in my Discord server as well as my Twitter and maybe, just maybe, TikTok. But the first four are definitely my priority. If there's anything specific you would all like to see, throw it in the comments below and I will 100% consider it. Before I close off, I just wanted to thank you all so much for all your support again this year. I personally never thought I'd get this far and you've all helped me achieve so many goals. I really appreciated all the kind words and equally all the criticism over the past year. You don't learn in life if you don't mess up, so never be afraid of doing so. I'll leave you all off with this. If there's one thing I've learned in life, it's that you should just be nice to people. It gets you way further in life than you think, and, by proxy, you make the world a better place. Thank you all again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this more personal look at who I am, and I hope moving forward I can continue to do more personal content on the channel. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take it easy.